Hello, it's me, Lollino Damb 64, and you know who Garfield is, right? No? Fine, it's time for history lesson. Garfield is a series of comics created by Jim Davis. These comics are all about an orange cat named Garfield and a man named John. Garfield doesn't like Mondays, loves lasagna, and John also has a dog named Odie. The comics got pretty popular, which means that Garfield not only got more comics, but also multiple TV shows, movies, and a bunch of merchandise. There's actually another movie coming out, and Garfield is voiced by none other than Mario himself. And of course, video games. Today we're gonna take a look at Garfield Caught in the Act for the Sega Mega Drive, or Sega Genesis if you live in America, which was actually developed by Sega Interactive themselves. Yeah, turns out that the president of Sega America at the time, Tom Kalinske, knew Garfield's creator, Jim Davis. And since Mr. Davis really wanted to do a Garfield video game at the time, this was the perfect opportunity. So he created this game based on the special Garfield, His 9 Lives. And he also helped making the sprites for the game. So here we are, Garfield Caught in the Act. Let's start a new game. I always love the opening cutscene because it's styled like a comic. I mean, how can you not love that? Anyway, the story is about Garfield accidentally breaking the TV, and then he tries to repair it himself. He tosses around a bunch of extra parts, which then create this thing that traps him in the TV. After all that, you get sent into the hub world, which is a bunch of cable things, and entering the different portals will lead to the levels. Each level has a different setting, those being Dracula's castle, a pirate-themed world, the prehistoric era, black and white, and Egypt. Garfield actually wears a different costume each level, which I always thought was kind of neat. The controls are pretty simple. The C button jumps, the B button lets you attack, and the A button lets you throw a projectile, which you have a limited number of, but you can find pickups in the level. There are also a lot of different items that either restore your health or give you more ammo. Now, you might be thinking, how's the level design? And it's, alright. It could have been worse, I guess, but it's also not that interesting. Just your basic platforming, then you have to sometimes stop and swing your weapon, and sometimes you have to throw a projectile. Nothing too crazy. But there are two levels that I want to talk about real quick. Yeah, this climbing the tree section in the pirate world is a nightmare. Because not only is the platforming really precise, but the enemies are just unfair, especially the flying enemies. And in the prehistoric level, the platforming is fine, but I got a little bit lost. But thankfully, you can just enable kitty mode and it will show you where to go. And it's not even because the level is big or confusing, it's just because it's full of blind jumps and everything looks the same. But there is one more thing in the game that I really don't like, and I've been waiting for a long time to tell you all of this. Every single flying enemy sucks, and even some ground enemies do. In general, the enemy AI and placement is not good, yet I rarely find myself dying because there's so much health pickups. I only really die in the 3 level. And that's mostly because some of the flying enemies, like the bats, are so tiny that it's nearly impossible to hit them. And so that means you're going to get hit instead. Thankfully, the bosses are a little bit better. I like the fact that the bosses are Odie and John actually. Except for the pirate world, they just got lazy with that one. The final boss against the weird TV monster thing at least is pretty cool. The music is also pretty good. I really like the black and white world music. In fact, there's a PC version of the game which has even better sounding music. Okay, fine, I was a little bit exaggerating with the whole enemies being the worst thing ever thing. It's not that bad, but it's still pretty annoying. And with all of that being said, I will recommend this game. It's not amazing, the platforming won't blow your mind, and the enemies can be pretty annoying sometimes, especially the flying enemies, but I really liked the plot and the level themes, and in general, I had a pretty good time beating the game. It's also pretty short, you can beat it in like an hour, so it's pretty easy to just mindlessly replay. So yeah, that's it for today's video, and see you next time! Bye bye!
Mamma mia!